episode of Under the Dome. Um, it feels good, doesn't it? After the biggest win of this season, we have put ourselves in the driver's seat to win our fourth straight division. Oh, there goes your ride, Sean.
Yeah, well, good. They didn't stop. Okay.
That sounds like a fire truck anyway,
It
not a
was.
cop. Okay.
It
Yeah,
was.
not a
I
cop.
was just going with it.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Yeah.
They'll never take me alive anyway.
Anyway, it was such a dominating win. Like a lot of y'all, I spent most of Monday reading the Tampa newspapers, watching the other shows, watching, Chris Sims and Tom Florio just lose their minds on Pro Football Talk. It was there was so much that I enjoyed in this game. It was the first game all season where I didn't sound like I had Tourette syndrome after every other play on defense, where I'm like, yeah, fuck. So it was it was an impressive win. It really, really was.
It was. The arrogance of which I know we're going to talk about in a little while.
Yeah.
As you and I were talking about off the air, the arrogance of Arians, it reached an unprecedented level Sunday night. It really did.
Absolutely. And I should have been surprised by the things that were being said about the loss. The Saints didn't win in their minds. Tampa lost, and
still counts as a W, though.
Oh, I know that, but one person on Twitter, I think it was, someone was saying, if Tampa if Tampa played the Saints 3 times, they'd win 2 of them. Well, I've got news for you. We've already played them twice, and we've won 2 of them. So
I don't think it's too far out of the realm of reality to say that both games that we've played against Tampa, the Saints have completely dominated.
Well, I saw a stat.
I don't care what Tampa has done since week 1. The first game and the last game at this point, we tore their head off. So, and I had a guy sitting here. I watched the game from here because I had to work that night. And there was a guy sitting at the bar that was absolutely just about foaming at the mouth and sitting there screaming, "This is your GOAT? This is the greatest of all time for you?" I love being able to see stuff like that.
Well, my wife and I and my middle daughter drove up to Lafayette for the weekend because it was UL's homecoming game. And which we won, by the way, against Arkansas State. Anyway, on the way back, I put on Sirius XM radio, the NFL network, and they had a forecaster, the money guy. And if you're going to put money down on a game, this is what to expect. He's going through every game before the noon's kickoffs. And he says, when he gets to the Saints Sunday night, he says, listen, he says, last time the Saints played the Bucs, they sacked Tom Brady 4 times, and they intercepted him 3 times. Brady will not throw 3 interceptions tonight. That's a sure thing. So go ahead and put your money on the Bucs. They should cover. Well,
they covered the ground. That's about it.
I think I read that Brady's been sacked 13 times this season, and the Saints are responsible for 7 of them. They've picked him off 6 times out of his 8 interceptions for the season. So, that gives you an idea of the kind of domination the Saints have had over Tom Brady this year. It's the first time Brady has ever been swept by a divisional opponent now that he's out of Little Sisters of the Poor League, where he's playing the school for the blind, the school for the incompetent, and the school for the imbeciles. What we used to refer to as the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. Now that he's not playing those guys and he's playing us. And I don't think they haven't played Atlanta yet, have they?
I'm not sure. I don't think
I don't
so.
believe they have. I think they have Atlanta on the schedule. They were going through, they've already played. We all play the same teams, but they've already played
NFC West and AFC.
No, AFC West and NFC. Yeah. They've got left on the schedule is they got the Panthers next week, or this week, I should say, Sunday. Then they host the Rams on Monday night. They host the Chiefs the week after Thanksgiving, the 29th, the weekend after Thanksgiving. Then they host the Vikings, and they play the Falcons Christmas week and New Year's week. They're supposed to play the Lions. So I guess they did play the Falcons once already. I don't remember them playing the Falcons, but let's see.
I think that may have been the second week of the season.
Well, I'm going through their schedule right now to see.
It had to have been early.
No, they have not. They play the Falcons twice. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I had to push a little button to get it to go further. They end the season on the Falcons, so they've got the Falcons 2 weeks. They got the Falcons Christmas week, and they have the Falcons right after New Year's on the 3rd. So
that's the same thing that we've had with the Falcons for the past several years.
Yeah, we play the Falcons
back to back.
Yeah, we play the Falcons twice in a 3-week span as well. So they have a good shot of, I'm going to say, losing to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And with the Falcons, because the Falcons are doing what I love that the Falcons do right now. The Falcons are winning games now just to screw up their draft position.
Yeah,
I mean, it's they're going to go on a 7-9 tear. I know they are.
They either start strong and then the wheels fall off, or they start weak and make a run in the middle, just like you said, just enough to keep them out of the top 10 drafted.
Exactly. I think what we're going to see is, I have to look at the Falcons schedule. Let me see. Let's see. I can't believe I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons, but I am.
While you do that.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you pay the bills while I do this?
Okay. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you guys aboard with us. You can follow our show on Facebook at the Under the Dome podcast page. You can follow us on Twitter by our Twitter handles there. And I want to say, give a special shout out to one of our original people, Miss Anna. She had surgery today. Our thoughts and prayers are going out to her. I hope everything was successful and everything came out well. We love you. We hope everything's good with you. I don't know if
there she is right there. There she is right there.
Well, like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with you, Anna. We hope that everything went absolutely great today, and hope it stays trending in that direction for you.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's the Falcons schedule. They've got us, then the Raiders. They host the Raiders. Not that it really matters, playing in Atlanta Stadium. That's just like
Megatron's butthole.
Yeah, that's just an extra home game for teams. Then they play us again. Then they play, the greatest game of the season will be December 13th. Falcons, Chargers. Who is going to choke away the game first?
Wow.
And I really feel bad for the Chargers, because the Chargers, they really keep finding new ways to lose. And, it's definitely on Anthony Lynn because it's not this coach. I mean, not this quarterback. Justin Herbert is probably my favorite for offensive rookie of the year this year. He's just an amazing quarterback.
He is.
I know a lot of people like Joe Burrow. I think Tua, as good as he played last week, is entering the conversation way too late. But
Yeah.
so, I really have the Chargers. Justin Herbert is my rookie of the year. But yeah, they play the Chargers. Then they play the Bucks, which we talked about. Then the Chiefs. So the Chiefs get to go on a tour of the NFC South because they play us. Let me make sure I do this in order. I think it's the Bucks, us, then the Falcons. Okay, it's every other week. It's they play Thanksgiving week the Bucks, then they go play the Broncos, then they play the Dolphins, then us, then the Falcons. So yeah, they go through their NFC West tour all within 3 weeks. And NFC South, sorry. I'm going old school. Yeah, they do the NFC South tour right at the end of the season. So that should be it should be really, really fun.
Okay. If you would, I'd like to get you to the comment that I made earlier about Arians' arrogance. Can you break it down to everybody exactly why the game played out the way that it did?
Oh, well, okay. So this is what I was saying. Not that I was complaining, but this is what I was saying as I'm watching the game. Bruce Arians, his offensive philosophy is grip it or rip it. If you are going to throw the ball, he doesn't want to throw the short pass. He's going to throw it deep if he can because he's going to go for the big play every time. And that's his instructions to his quarterback. Go for the big play. It's part of the reason why Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions. Because if you're throwing the ball all over the damn field, you're putting the ball at risk like that, especially deep passes. And the Saints are taking advantage of these things. That's why they got 6 interceptions against Brady alone. So as this game's unfolding and you're going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and the Saints are going touchdown, touchdown, touchdown with a turnover in one possession and a field goal to end the half, basically. At some point, you have to realize your defense is getting tired. And you really need to start manufacturing a longer drive to keep your defense on the sideline rather than chase the Saints receivers around all day long. So at no point does Arians adjust his game plan. He's still trying to throw it deep. And coming out in the second half, they interview him. Michelle DeFoyer interviews him, and he says, we're going to try and get the ball out of our hands even faster and go up-tempo, still throwing it deep. Your defense is wearing out. I forgot the exact time of possession.
It was astronomical.
Yeah, I'm pulling it back up now. But, yeah, it was – I had it up here Sunday night as I was writing my little this is it, November 8th. I had it up as I was writing my little good, bad, and ugly. Okay, the time of possession differential. The Saints had the ball for 40 minutes and 4 seconds compared to the Bucks 19 minutes, 56 seconds. That's more than 2-1.
Yes.
They only attempted, I'm not counting the kneel down because that is technically a running down or running play. They only ran the ball 4 times. They had a grand total of 8 yards rushing. 8. So at no point do they try and slow the Saints offense down and keep the Bucks defense off the field. by controlling the clock and getting some first downs, getting some. I think it was like the third or fourth possession before time. No, it was the fifth possession. I'm looking at the play-by-play. Fifth possession before the Bucks got their first down. That's just, I mean, that's idiotic. And I'm not complaining because I loved it. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, you're 1 of 9 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down. Of the 13 first downs you got for the night, 3 of them came via penalty. So, I mean, it's an awful night for your offense. You ran a total of 46 plays compared to the Saints' 73 plays. Average for a game is about 60 plays, 65 plays. So it was 194 yards total offense versus, because you count the sacks as detractions from your total offense. I know Brady threw for over 200 yards, but you had 194 yards total offense. Saints had 420 yards total offense. At one point in the third quarter, the Bucks were on, it was 3rd and 34. And I think that's the one where they tried the field goal. They went for the field goal. But, I mean, it was 3rd and 34. Trey Hendrickson got 3 back-to-back sacks. One didn't count because of a stupid call. That was a horrible call. But they threw the flag, gave him a first down. It's one of their 3 first downs via penalty. But, yeah, he got 3 back-to-back sacks. At one point, you got a 43-year-old quarterback. Run a damn draw. Punt. Live another down. Don't just keep sending him back there in these deep drops, holding the ball for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. You could see it. I mean, the Saints players are getting off their blocks, and they're coming for him. They're looking, and Brady's looking at his rush the whole time. So it's just it was an idiotic game plan, but I'm not complaining at all.
No,
at all.
I do believe in 2 things. I do believe that game was for the NFC South Championship, because we're the only 2 teams that are going to contend for that anyway.
Absolutely.
And more than that, I think there's probably, unless the Saints go all the way without losing again, there's probably a decent chance that we'll see Tampa Bay in the playoffs, just like we did a couple of years ago with Carolina, where we played them 3 times in one season.
Yeah, because like I said, when you look at that Buccaneers schedule, there's no reason why they're going to lose so many games, especially because of the dumpster fire, that you got it for a division in the NFC East. Even if 3 playoff teams come out, because they expanded the playoff format, even if 3 playoff teams come out of the NFC West, you're still going to have one coming out of the NFC South. Chicago is going down. Minnesota seems to be coming back now. And Green Bay is they're hanging in there. They're one of the 3 6-2 teams, but who really fears Green Bay right now? I mean, you can run the ball on them. And you just run the ball on them and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, and this was one of those games that I think there was nothing we could do wrong. I mean, when people were saying, well, what is going to be your bad and your good, bad, and ugly? I had to pick on poor Jared Cook because he was the only one that really had 3 bad mistakes. I believe so too. The Vikings are going to pass the Bears for second place. I think they will. In fact, I think they might challenge the Packers if the Packers struggle some more, because I think the Packers are having a lot of problems.
They destroyed Green Bay already. Yeah. And it was just as you said. They ran the ball. Dalvin Cook went off on them, and they could do absolutely nothing to stop it.
Oh, and Calvin's got a great point here. Against the Bears, we had no whistle blown. Forward progress was stopped, which took away a fumble. Jared Cook gets to the 2-yard line, where was the mystery whistle? To say, hey, forward progress stop before they strip the ball, because it's basically the same thing. You wrapped him up, you stopped his forward momentum. He's trying to get forward progress, but as one guy is holding him, another guy strips the ball out. Now, granted, it was even faster than it was in against Chicago, but I felt the same way, Calvin. I don't know. It's just one of those calls. Different officiating crews rule things differently in this case, and but Cook, I gave him the knock because he fumbled there, killing one scoring drive because we would have been on the 2-yard line. We were going to score easily. The next not the next series, but a couple of series later when we had to settle for the field goal, Cook is at the first down marker. He drops that pass. So that killed a touchdown drive. We had to settle for a field goal. And then finally, in the third quarter, Cook was on Shaquille Barrett, the linebacker, and he missed his block. And Barrett gets to Brees when Brees tries to step up and knocks his arm, which, of course, he had the empty hand. It was a fumble.
Yeah.
And the Bucs were able to get in position. But none of these plays really hurt us. They just kept us from scoring more points. And the thing that I was most impressed, in which I thought the game was over from that point on, was the goal line stand. And the Saints kept the Bucs out of the end zone. And even though they didn't score in that drive, it was their first punt of the night, we were able to flip the field because we got enough first downs to get out to the 30. We punted the ball. Now Tampa had to start on their own 18 instead of midfield, which is where you typically start if you have to punt out of your end zone.
Yeah.
So it was it was just a thoroughly entertaining game. Even the Taysom Hill plays were all working.
Yeah.
He even threw a pass. He threw two of them. He threw two passes. One of them, he had to scoop the ball up to the ground after a bad snap and completed a wide open Trotman. And Trotman takes off down the sideline like, is someone going to tackle me?
I love games like this where you see everything fall into place. And as I said to you earlier, in a way, it's, I don't want to say vindicating, but it's like everything that you knew that this team was capable of doing, they did. Mm-hmm. And they showed it on the field.
Absolutely.
And then you have the thing in the back of your mind, well, where the hell have they been for 8 weeks now?
Well, and this is the scary part for me. The Saints have games like this every year, it seems. In 2018, the game against the Eagles, we just totally demolished that team.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2019, I just had it a second ago, and I just forgot what the hell it was. Forgive me. I usually am better prepared than this. But come on. There we go. You think go back to 2011 when we demolished the Colts 62-7. Oh, the Colts again. Where we just take it to the Colts. I think Brees was almost perfect. Throwing the ball. Pull the stats up to that game. Come on. I'm sorry, guys. My computer is just going real slow right now. That's 20. How did I get to 2018? What the hell just happened? I had 2019 Saints pulled up, and then just kicked me over the 2018 Saints.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. That's typical, though. Okay, that's the 2019 season. Here we go. Let's do it this way. I'll go to Wikipedia rather than do ESPN.com. The only problem with Wikipedia is I can't just pull up the stats. Yeah, we beat him 34-7. I think Brees was 24 of 27. Threw like 5 touchdown passes in that game, 4 touchdown passes in that game. It was a blowout. I mean, that once again a dominating win. 2011 dominate the Colts 62-7. We have those games, and we follow it up a lot of times with a clunker. In 2011 we had the clunker against the 0-8 Rams. That's probably the most famous one. So I guess. I'm sorry, guys. Since I was on a different screen, I'm missing some of y'all's comments as y'all posting them. First time we didn't give a red zone TD all year. 12 different receivers, great balance in offense. Yep, 14 different people caught the ball on the first drive alone. We hit nine different ones. It was vintage Drew Brees.
Yes.
2017 against the Bills. Thanks. That's my brother. 2017. Yeah, 6 touchdowns on the ground. Just totally dominated the Bills. So we always.
That's the game where we discovered Washington, I believe.
Yeah.
Bills game.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there watching, going, wait a minute, they're pulling people out of the stands now to run the ball. Kamara and Ingram both had over 100 yards rushing.
That was the game where we had the one drive. I got it on DVR still. Oh, we blew out the Bengals too in 2018. Right around the same time. But I mean, that was the Bengals. So I'm not. That's like picking on the goofy looking kid in the school. You just don't. You're not going to get credibility for that. You pick on the bully. That's different. Yeah. But you pick on the goofy-looking kid, whose mom dresses him in funny-looking clothes and he wears his pants up to his nipples. That's different. I mean, that's not picking on somebody good. I'm sorry.
Well, this is 1 week. This is 1 week and one season where we cannot afford to have a bad week following this game, because this team that you're playing this week, you're never going to have them in a more disadvantageous position.
Absolutely. No, I don't want to play the 49ers in the playoffs. I don't want these guys to get healthy and make it to the playoffs. I want to drive the damn spike through their heart right now.
Yes.
I feel good enough especially because this is the first game with all of our weapons on offense, that we can handle a team like the Rams or the Cardinals, and the Seahawks defense is just it's like 2012 level Saints defense. So, I don't want to have to deal with the 49ers, because the 49ers are a team that, for whatever reason, if these guys can get healthy, they're going to give us a lot of problems. I don't want to have to deal with, because I hate George Kittle, and I don't want to have to deal with a healthier 49ers defense. I just rather kick them when they're down, get them out of the playoff picture, and go from there. Because I think everybody else, believe it or not, everybody else in the playoff picture right now, I think we match up extremely well with, even with the defense struggling the way they have been.
Well, I'm hoping that this game is going to be somewhat of a turning point, especially for the defense. I mean, you got out there and you were playing against the GOAT, and you showed up and you showed out. You see what you can do. Now let's keep this momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree, the Rams are not that good. That's why I think Bill Belichick, I watched a video on YouTube. Bill Belichick pretty much exposed how to stop. Well, you got to give some credit to Sean Payton for the whole. He's having conversations in Jared Goff's ear, letting him know what the defensive coverages are while he's going up to the line. So Payton said, just make noise, make it hard for him to hear. So he can't hear. He can only hear the play. He can't really hear the coverages. And he's going to have to figure out stuff on his own. But Bill Belichick ran a 6-1-5 defense No, did I just 614? Sorry, 614. I just put 12 people on the field. 614 defense against the Rams, and McVay has never recovered from that. And you see, and I even saw this when the Rams were playing sorry ass teams in the NFC West and NFC East. They were still running the 614 defense, and the Rams were still having trouble with it.
Yeah.
Just so I think Cooper Kupp's a fantastic receiver. I think their running game is adequate. But I think we can beat the Rams.
The Rams are one of those teams that you don't want to let them get on a roll. You don't want them to get the momentum, because when they get the momentum, they're a completely different team than when they're not.
Yep, exactly. And as good as the Cardinals' offense is, and they're very dangerous with Murray, and now they got DeAndre Hopkins. They're very dangerous passing game. Their defense is not. We knock our defense a lot, and because we expect a lot out of it. But you see a lot of defenses giving up a lot of passing yardage. I read that we're ranked number 3 defensively in the league.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's because, of course, penalty yardage doesn't count. So if you're giving up first downs via pass interference calls, you're not giving up a ton of yardage. You've given up a lot of penalty yardage that puts you down on a shorter field. So, and you're giving up a lot of points in the red zone, but you're not giving up that yardage that makes up the ranking. That's when statistics are kind of misleading. Yeah. But anyway, did
Alexander play?
Yes.
I never.
Oh wait, no, not Quan. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Anzalone. No, he did not. He is in. When you get traded from a team, you have a week that you kind of sit out with COVID protocol. Where they test you before they let you into the building and stuff like that, and work with a team. So you're probably going to have a better shot of seeing Quan this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and he could probably be of some use going against the 49ers.
Yes, absolutely could. And here's the thing too with Alexander. People were wondering where the heck Zach Braun was Sunday night. The Saints played a lot of 4-2-5 defense back there. And at some point, in some other points, you were running 6 defensive backs with 4 linemen and 1 linebacker, DeMario Davis. So Braun was out there playing special teams. You just didn't see not playing a lot of linebackers. I think you might see more traditional 4-3 defenses against the 49ers this week, just because you've got Nick Mullins playing quarterback. They're going to run some bootlegs. They're going to try and run the ball a lot versus the Bucs, who just want to air it out from the minute they get on the field. So, the defense changes based on who they're playing this week. So it'll be interesting to see. I think you see Quan probably a little bit of strong side linebacker, and then as he learns the defense, you might see him move in and be more rotating with Anzalone as one of the 2 linebackers out there with DeMario Davis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, don't go to sleep on Nick Mullins.
No, I'm not. Trey Anderson is having an outstanding season. It's been amazing that he is in the top 3 with sacks, because he has 7 sacks. And I think the lead is Aaron Donald with 10. So he's right there. Yeah. And yes, Carolina could have won that game. I was impressed with Carolina in that game.
I was too.
Cam Jordan is coming back. I think Cam Jordan is coming back because you now have Marcus Davenport out there. you saw in the tip drill, the interception, the first one.
Yeah.
Davenport just totally bull rushes that dude, and he's pushing him into Brady, and Brady throws the ball, and he just lets up, puts one arm up, knocks it down, tips it. Cam Jordan gets a piece of it, thinking it's coming straight to him, and it goes right to Onyemata. And all I was missing was Onyemata stiff-arming Tom Brady and the German announcers.
Oh, man. That would have been awesome.
Absolutely, Matt. 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 sacks. Okay. But yeah, in fact, Davenport, I don't know if anybody saw this, but they tried to start a fight with Davenport.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ali Marpet was hurt, all right, with the concussion, in the concussion protocol. So I advise you guys go back and look at 2018. 2019, the Saints Bucks game when the Bucks are wearing those god awful color rush uniforms. It's the one where it's the second Bucks game of the season that we played in Tampa. Number 66, I think he is. He's got this wild red hair. He looks like he should be one of the Vikings, from Gladiator, the one holding the head up, and he sends the body out on the horse, and Maximus says, they say no. They come right, and he's going, yeah, and throws the head out there, much like the way Kyle Turley to the Jets player's helmet, Anyway, he tried to start a fight with Davenport, and Davenport has his arm brace, much like J.J. Watt. He's got this arm brace on his arm. I guess because of his bad elbow that he had injured in preseason. That dude rips it completely off because he got frustrated, throws it on the field. You just see this black thing go spinning out on the field. And for the rest of the game, Davenport doesn't have an arm brace anymore. So, and that guy with the red hair wanted to start a fight last year with the Saints. Then he got pissed off at Jameis Winston. Winston gave him that, your mama when you were cutting up in church look, the big eyes looking up at you. He's staring at him down because he got a penalty for doing something. So go back and watch. It's the same guy. I kept waiting for the fight. I said, okay, it won't be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson this time. It'll be somebody else fighting. It's fun when you know these things.
And I can't believe that they retraced the rivalry between Lattimore and what's his name?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Evans didn't start catching balls until Lattimore was off the field. We just need to have Mike Evans on every team we play because that's the only way it seems to get Lattimore to play his best game. And it was fun. It was really a lot of fun.
It really was.
So I guess that's the next question I have for you guys. So where would you place this game since 2006? The best or the biggest wins in the Peyton Brees game?
Me personally, on one hand, I would rate it up there pretty high. And that's got virtually nothing to do with the Saints. It's got more to do with who the opponent was. Mm-hmm. And the disrespect and everything leading up to this game, how Brady was just going to wipe the field with us, and all the commentators and analysts, they all picked Tampa to win. And like you sent me that text. Congratulations, Bucks fans! You got the pissed off Drew Brees.
Absolutely.
And petty Sean Payton in the same game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that it was and as you said, it wasn't completely everything that the Saints did, in as much as we've discussed, the arrogance of Arians playing into it, and But me personally, I would rate it up there pretty high. I really would.
Well, and here's the funny thing. I think if Arians gets another shot at at the Saints in the playoffs, I think he tries to do pretty much the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Because his attitude will be, yeah, they got us pretty good early and we fell behind, so it was just a pin their ears back. But I know I can exploit this secondary, and Brady's smart enough. We'll just go back there and we'll just block better and do it again. And somebody asking a Jets question. He's gonna come out. I'm telling you right now, he's coming out. He just can't pass up the money because I'm gonna go back to my other question in a minute, but let's just say he stays for one more year and he has a Tua type injury. Tua has come back, but let's say he has a significant injury his senior season and his draft stock falls, or it affects his ability to go play at the next level.
You just described the exact thing that happened to Tua.
Right.
There's God only knows how much money that kid lost from that injury.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you cannot pass up. If you're going to be the number one overall pick, you can't pass that up. Even though you're going to a team like the Jets, just like Burrow couldn't not go to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
As screwed up as that organization is, he has to go. So I think he comes out, and I think he goes to the Jets. I think the Jets are going to fire Adam Gase. I mean, I would have fired him after week 4, but they're going to try and ride this clown all the way to the end, I guess, because their attitude is, hey, we're just going to tank this entire season and take Trevor Lawrence and start over again. The bad part about it is they drafted Sam Darnold, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
3, I believe.
Okay. It might have been 2 years ago, but they drafted him, and what I don't know if they have enough leverage to do that. Pull an Eli and refuse to play for the Jets. I don't think they have enough leverage to do that. It's not. I mean, the Jets could go to Justin Fields, who may be right there at 1A behind Trevor Lawrence. So he really didn't have that kind of leverage. Well, no, as soon as I say Justin Fields, Calvin says Lawrence the only QB worth drafting this year anyway.
I wouldn't argue that, actually.
But Adam Gase, they don't want to run into what we were joking about the Falcons going to do. The Falcons are going to win enough games, they end up 7-9. If you're going to tank, go 0-16, guarantee you got the number one pick, and take Trevor Lawrence, fire Gase, fire your GM, hire somebody competent. That's, the Jets have been trying to do that for 30 years, but hire somebody competent, hire a general manager that's competent, and just, trade Sam Darnold for whatever you can get for him, like a 2 and a 5, if you think you can get that for him. You've got a draft pick for the safety, Adams, that you sent to Seattle. Just acquire picks and play the long game. It's rebuild. Let's see. Namath retired. Namath left in 75. Namath left in 76. So it's now, and Namath was bad since at least 72. Except for the brief time where they had a New York Stock Exchange and Ken O'Brien. The Jets have been rebuilding since at least 1972.
I don't know. I don't know. They had that brief run in there with Parcells.
Well, they did. They did.
And they effectively killed that by drafting the kid from USC. When Testaverde was with them, they did very good. Sanchez, they got Sanchez, and that just drove a stake through their heart.
Well, it's and the thing with Sanchez was you won 2 games. Got to the AFC Championship game. Sorry, 2 years in a row. You played the Patriots 1 year. You played the Colts the following year, and that was it. You never topped that because you really won based on your running game, and you had that old I can't think of the Bears running back right now. They had he was actually pretty good.
Benson?
No, not Benson. No. The kid who was running for the Bears, running back for the Bears in 2006, and he finished his career in 2009 with the Jets. Thomas Jones. I knew somebody would remember this. Matthew. Thomas Jones. They had a good running back then, and once Thomas Jones was gone, they never could duplicate that. And it's just like how the Jets under Parcells had Curtis Martin, and Curtis Martin was a great one, and he got the Jets to the playoffs and the division championship again. I'm sorry, AFC championship again, and just did not get over the hump.
Well, I mean, it's an accomplishment that both times you lost to the team that would go on to play or go on to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, and that's why they stuck with Rex Ryan or as long as they did, because they figured he knew what got him there and he could do it again, but they never could. And that's the biggest problem with the Jets. They get some success and they never build on it. Yeah. It's like they mortgage the future to take that final step, don't take it, slip on a banana peel, and then 2 seasons at 3-13 again. So but LaDainian
one thing about him now,
end of his career by that
one
point.
thing about him now, they don't just suck a little bit. They go from one extreme to the other, and they do it at top speed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see it, and that's why players want out. They need to hire a competent general manager, and don't go to the Patriots tree. That should have everyone should know by now. Don't ever hire anybody because Belichick keeps all the secrets to himself. He has no apprentice. He is Darth Sidious with no apprentices. He makes you think he has apprentices that learned, the dark side of the Force, but he doesn't give his secrets away.
No. I don't know. Has there been a head coach from the Belichick tree that has ever succeeded anywhere?
No, there has not. You get a little bit of success. Bill O'Brien got a little bit of success. You got a little bit with Romeo Crennel. You got a little bit with what was that fat guy's name who was
Charlie Weiss?
Charlie Weiss. Yeah, you got a little bit with Charlie Weiss at Notre Dame, but after that, no, you just don't. It's all Belichick. Belichick knows what he's doing on that. So, okay, so going back to my question before we start talking about the Jets, I put this win. If this turns out to be the turning point of the season, where we no longer beating ourselves with penalties, our secondary is playing at the level they're capable of playing, our defensive line is getting to the quarterback and getting a lot of sacks and getting a lot of pressure, and we make bend but don't break, but we're stopping them in the red zone and making them settle for field goals and that kind of stuff. This could be like the 2006 Dallas Cowboys game, where we kicked the crap out of the 8-4 Cowboys, and we suddenly went from being a feel-good story to, holy shit, look at this team. And, the guys who caught touchdowns in that game or scored touchdowns, like Mike Carney with his 3 and Jamal Jones with his 1, pass. That was, I can still hear Al Michaels talk about that game, look at we know the Cowboys and they got Terrell Owens, but the Saints, about Drew Brees, about Reggie Bush and Juice McAllister with Mike Carney. He's got 3 touchdowns. Jamal Jones. Who are these guys? And I would also put this in category with the 2009 2009 Patriots Saints win, where you got I have something to say about this in a second. My brother just threw this Eric Bieniemy. Eric's sleeping with Bieniemy. I got something to say about him being a head coach in a second. Anyway, if this turns out to be that kind of win, I think that's another statement win. And that's what I'm talking about. Are these statement wins? Is this a statement win that we're making? Or is this a cold 62-7? We just beat up the retarded kid, or, Redskins, Saints, where we come back and win in overtime kind of win. We have to see, or Rams, Saints in 2018, where we knock off the Super Bowl favorite, but we lose them in the playoffs because of a no call. But I mean, that's what we have to see once the season plays out. But right now, I've got it in one of those top 10 wins of all time, just because of how dominant it was, the expectations going in.
Well, the way I should have put my answer, just like you just said, a lot of where I put it ultimately is going to depend on what happens after. Like you said, if it is the turning point, and it's not just a high point on the schedule. That'll ultimately, for me anyway, determine where I put it.
Right, exactly. If we look back at this game from Sunday night, when the season's over with and we've advanced in the playoffs, we've looked back at that game and say, okay, that was the game where we really showed what this offense and defense is capable of doing. That we have the best, because right now it looks like we have the best balance. But if against 49ers, we're playing like we played against the Raiders and against the Packers, or in some cases we played against the Chargers or the Panthers, where we needed a big play to win the game by the defense, just one play, instead of just putting that team away early, getting them out of their game plan. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about, and that'll determine where this game falls in as one of the biggest ones. All right, so Eric Bieniemy. Here's my concern with Eric Bieniemy as a head coach. I don't know how much of what's going on with Kansas City is Patrick Mahomes just pulling plays out of his backside because of who he is and what he can do, Tyreek Hill and what he can do, and Andy Reid to an extent, because, we talk about the coaching tree. Andy Reid doesn't have that great of a coaching tree either. That's my biggest concern with Eric Bieniemy as a head coach. It's not that I think he doesn't call or design a good offense, but how much of it is Patrick Mahomes being able to do what he does?
Yeah, and exactly. And how much of what's going on is Eric Bieniemy and how much of it is Andy Reid?
I mean, if you look at that Kansas City Carolina game, from Sunday, while you're waiting for the Saints game to come on, there were a lot of times where you're like, what the hell is Kansas City doing? I
think I texted you during that game, and when they started their comeback, and it's real, in a lot of ways it's unfair, because it's almost like playing your 10-year-old nephew in Madden, and you tell him, okay, we'll spot you 2 touchdowns, and then the beatdown ensues, because they're just that good.
Yeah.
And you saw it even last year in the playoffs. You give up a lead to the opposition, and then come storming back and just blow them out of the stadium.
Right. And so that's my concern right now. My brother posted the NFL's offered teams more incentives for diverse hiring, and I know he fits a lot of the. I don't think a guy should get his job because of that, though.
I don't.
It's not fair to his own ability. Um, I understand the message they're trying to get across. I understand the opportunities they're trying to put out there, but I, the NFL bottom line is about wins and losses, and it's I know what they're trying to do, but you part of the problem that consistent losing teams have is chasing names and not figuring out what kind of team they want to what kind of team they want to build. Okay. Um, yeah, Kansas City can't stop the run because you know who their defensive coordinator is, right? Huh?
Romeo?
No. Romeo's the coach over there in Houston. No. It's an old friend of ours from New Orleans who was our defensive coordinator in 2012.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Spagnola.
Spags, yeah.
Yeah, Spagnola is the defense coordinator for Kansas City. But that's I would really have to. This is why you hire a general manager first. If I'm the Jets or if I'm the Jaguars or whomever, whatever team or Atlanta, although I want Atlanta to keep screwing up because it's so enjoyable. But you hire a general manager and you put together an idea. What kind of philosophy am I going to build? And actually, that's a good example. Atlanta hiring the bro. The coach they just fired. I've just forgot his name already.
Golly. I can't remember it either. You're contagious.
Yeah.
Came from Seattle.
Yeah. Dan Quinn. How could I forget that? Dan Quinn. All right.
Yeah.
So, you hire Dan Quinn because the Seattle defense, the Legion of Boom, and that's like the in defense right now because they were shutting down the pass and they were incredibly fast and taking away the run and they were undersized and they looked like that was going to be in a game that's about speed. This was a defensive coordinator who understood that and got that. You could with Shanahan running the offense, you could be an explosive passing team. And when the team tries to match you with that, you've got a small, fast defense that forces turnovers, gets your offense back the ball, rushes the passer. And that's how he built his team. And what they didn't realize is that other teams were going to run on that defense because you don't have Chancellor and you don't have, Legion of Boom in the secondary or linebackers that of the capability of, the Seattle linebackers from the middle of the decade. You don't have those particular players. So his defensive scheme didn't work, and you were able to pound the rock on these guys because they're undersized. They can't stop the run, and they got at the offensive line wasn't as good as Seattle's was when Seattle was winning Super Bowls and going to the Super Bowl. So that exposed him. So but they tried to draft and build a Seattle-like team in Atlanta. So, if you were to take Eric Bieniemy and make him your new head coach, you're going to have to kind of build your team like the Kansas City Chiefs, and that will require you to have a quarterback with a similar skill set as Patrick Mahomes. So, and you're trying to duplicate that team, and I don't know if you can do that or not.
It would depend on the team, but that would be a really, really short list for me.
Right. Right.
If it's a situation where you're walking into and you're supposed to be the missing piece to take them to the next level, that's not going to ever happen when you just fired the coach before you for being ineffective.
Yeah.
That just doesn't exist.
Well, and that was the genius, I guess, of hiring, a guy like Sean Payton, who, if you guys remember, Sean Payton got the play calling duties taken away from him the year that the Giants, no, I'm sorry, not the Super Bowl year, but one of his last years, Jim Fossil was there with the Giants. So Payton wasn't a hot name. He went over to Bill Parcells, but it was all about Parcells. You weren't really paying attention to his assistants on that team. So when Payton came in, Payton really had no expectations and was able to build his program. So in the long run, if Bieniemy's got an idea, this is how I want to run a team. This is how I want to build a team. This is what I want to do. And we need these kind of players, and we're going to get rid of these guys and do this. And he has a philosophy that he sticks to, and he gets those players to fit that philosophy. He can be a successful coach. But you can't imitate the coach you just left or the staff you just left. You can't imitate that. You kind of have to. So I don't know. Anyway, how many coaches have the Falcons and the Saints? No, Falcons and the Bucks had since Peyton had been here. Well, the Falcons have had Jim Mora Jr. or Jim Mora. They had the Arkansas coach who left the team in the middle of the season. I forgot his name. It'll come to me.
His name.
Yeah, Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, and now you've got Raheem Morris. So that's 5. The Bucks have gone through even more. I want to say the Bucks have had 7. The Bucks had they had Raheem Morris, they had Greg Schiano, which, by the way, if the Bucks do not kick that field goal, that would have been the first shutout of the Bucks since the last time they got shut out by us, 41-0 back in 21-12. That was Greg Schiano's first year there. So yeah,
21-12.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 2012. Yeah, 21-12 is a Rush album. 2012.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, about 5 to 7 coaches. I think Falcons have had 5, and the Bucks have had 7, because you also had who I thought was actually a pretty good coach, but they didn't like him. The ex-Bears coach, Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith. I thought he.
I don't think that that he had an adequate opportunity to do that job, because they only kept him a year.
Yeah, they had a different philosophy. They wanted to go they wanted an offensive coach. And then after Lovie Smith, you had who's the guy who's now the offensive coordinator for the Falcons again. You had him, and now you have the guy that's there now, Arians. So yeah, it's at least 7. So they've gone through a lot, and
it's hard to imagine that a New Orleans Saints coach is one of the longest tenured coaches in the league.
Well, Peyton is now in his 14th season. Yeah, because they don't count 2012. So his 14th season. If he survives or stays for 4 more years, he will have been coach as long as John Meekum owned the Saints, which was 18 years.
Wow.
And John Meekum went through 10 head coaches in his 18 years. So yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, because if you count the interim coaches and stuff that later got hired again, yeah, you went through Tom Fears, J.D. Roberts, John North, Hank Stram, Dick Nolan, Dick Stanfeld, Bum Phillips, Wade Phillips. I'm sorry, he went through I lost my count here. Almost he went through 8 coaches. He went through 8 coaches in 18 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, the only ones that Manny didn't play for, Wade Phillips and John North. I'm sorry, the original head coach, Tom Fears. Archie played for everybody else. I didn't count the interim head coach, Dick Ernie Heffley from 1975, who took over when they fired John North. So nine coaches. All right. I know you got to go make the donuts. We've already been over for an hour. Real quick though, what are your predictions for Sunday against? And we play at 3:25 again because remember it's a West Coast team, so we're playing in the evening again. What are your predictions for Sunday in the Dome against the 49ers?
I think that offensively, the 49ers are they're hit and miss. You got an unknown quality in your quarterback in Mullins. You don't really have the full indication of what he's going to do and what he's going to be capable of doing. Defensively, as you alluded to earlier, the 49ers are pretty beat up. I think this absolutely should be a win. They don't have Kittle. They do still have Deebo Samuel. And Mullins is more than capable of getting him the ball. You just got to get out there and keep working. I think that they're in like I said, an advantageous position to get this win, and I think that they need it a whole lot more than people really fully understand right now.
I agree. I think it's all going to, just like the Tampa game, it's all going to be about who wins the line of scrimmage. If our offensive line can just dominate the 49ers defensive line, I think Brees can go hit 9 and 12 different receivers again. Murray is frustrating to me because Latavius Murray, if he can get past the line of scrimmage and get to the second level, he's going to run for a lot of yardage. But if you hit him at the hole, he's going down right there. He's not going any further. Kamara, and this is why you've been seeing more Taysom Hill. Kamara and Taysom Hill, they get hit the line of scrimmage, they're going to try and push forward and fall forward for a couple more yards. So, Murray's frustrating for me because of that. But I think this is going to be more of a running act. It's going to be a fast game because I think the 49ers are going to run the ball a lot. So, again, our defensive line has to dominate the 49ers offensive line. If we can do those two things, I think we can win the game fairly comfortably. If this becomes a back and forth shootout kind of game where the secondary is making mistakes and not playing the way they're supposed to, shout out to Malcolm Jenkins. I've been critical of him all year, but last week and the Bears game, he showed up, and I think he needs to keep showing up now. I'll answer this question real quick too. But yeah, I think if we dominate the line of scrimmage, we win this game convincingly, like Chad is saying. But if we don't, if we're giving up a lot of penalty yardage and mistakes, this is going to be another one of those 27-30 kind of games. So we'll see. But I'm going to go with the Saints winning because I think we're going to be at 11-2 going into the Kansas City game, which is the only winning team as of right now, the only winning team we have left on the schedule. So real quick, Sean, do you think whoever wins the NFC East will have only 6 wins?
I think it's entirely likely. I really do. And it's trending that way. Absolutely.
And I think it's the Eagles that will probably win the division. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win the division. I think the Cowboys, as good as they played against the Steelers last Sunday, I don't think they keep that up. I think they keep making mistakes and turning the ball over and that kind of stuff. So, no, I think it's going to be the Eagles, and I welcome playing the Eagles in the playoffs. I really do. I would
especially now.
I would love to play the Cowboys in the play or the Eagles in the playoffs. I'd love to play the Cowboys in the playoffs too, but I would love to play the Eagles in the playoffs. That's an easy win there. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. As Sean said, you can find us on our Twitter. Our Twitter handles are right there. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Under the Dome on Facebook. After every Saints game, I write a good, bad, and ugly of what I win or lose, what I thought of the game, my observations immediately after a game. I welcome people to comment, chime in. They're lengthy. I know they are. But in the back of my head, as I'm writing this thing, I keep thinking about someone telling me, you didn't talk about this. What about this? So I try to include everything you guys could possibly think of to say in the game so I don't get that post. But thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time on Under the Dome. Good night, everybody.